Good morning, everybody. Michael the Maven. Today, I'm going to answer one of your questions about adapters that I got recently. It had to do with, is there a time we should not use adapters versus times we should? It's a pretty good question, and there's a short answer to this, and there's a long answer to this. So let me explain for those of you that don't know, there are a number of adapters out there that will allow you to use, let's say, a Canon lens on a Sony body. Typically, adapters are described in one mount, the first mount being the lens and the second mount being the new camera. This is a smart adapter. I have a Canon 50mm lens on my Sony a6400. The smart adapter allows me to control the aperture through the adapter. And the question is there a time that you don't want to do this? My take on it is adapters really lower the cost when you have existing lenses, and there are going to be times and cases that you just wouldn't be able to get the shot otherwise. But there are some reasons that you would specifically want to use a major manufacturer's lens on the same camera body, and I'm about to give you a rundown of how it works. If you are dealing with slow-moving subjects, things that don't move a whole lot, and we're dealing with more telephoto focal lengths, in most cases, I think you're going to be fine. If you are dealing with fast-moving subjects that require fast and accurate focusing systems, my experience has been is that native lenses are far better on their native bodies than trying to adapt over. So if I, say for example, had a 100-400 Canon lens, and I tried to adapt it over to my Sony camera body, the focusing, it's not gonna be as good as if it was a Sony lens on that Sony body. Again, you're gonna have to make do with what you have. There's an exception to this rule, and that exception is when you are adapting a camera company's lens to the same camera company, but a different mount. One example would be in the case of the EF to M mount. This is a Canon M50, and I have an EF lens adapted with the EF to M adapter. My experience on this is that it works pretty dang well, obviously because we're going from Canon to Canon to Canon. Now, having said all this, every lens is a little bit different, every adapter is a little bit different, but there is a word of warning I have to give you about using wide angle lenses adapted to non-native camera bodies. And that is that wide-angle lenses typically have a larger degree of distortion and vignetting. Distortion is more of a bowing of the subject, so you get some stretching, and then the vignetting in the corners is a darkening in the corners. With still images, this can be cleaned up pretty easily in Lightroom and in Camera Raw, but if you are shooting video, it becomes much more difficult to fix it. It might be possible with a lot of work, but if you're doing high-end video, I would definitely recommend using the camera manufacturer's lenses when you're shooting wide. And the reason is because we have lens profiles built into the camera. Every camera manufacturer has it. Essentially, what these profiles do is it cleans up the natural defects of the lens. So most camera companies off the top of my head have it. When you look at Fuji's lenses, the wide-angle lenses, heavy distortion, heavy vignetting. But because Fuji lenses really only work on Fuji camera bodies, they're using those lens profiles to clean it up. And if you take something like a wide-angle Canon lens, like that 16-35, and you adapt that over to Sony, you are going to see the vignetting absolutely in the corners on your video. So I know that's a kind of a complex answer, but in summary, slow-moving subjects, more telephoto, you're probably going to be fine. Camera companies adapting to native camera companies, probably going to be fine. If you need something for sport shooting with fast focusing, or you are adapting over wide angle lenses for video, probably also better to go with the native lenses. So I hope that answers your question. If you have a question about your camera or some funky thing that you don't know, let me know in the comments below, and if I can answer it, I will in an upcoming video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.